In today's highly competitive job market, losing your job can be a devastating experience. So in today's video, I'm going to share what it was like for me losing my tech job after working at the same company for 5 years, promoting 6 times and earning $300,000 my final year at age 26. I'm going to talk specifically about the emotional attachment phase of what exactly I felt in the moment and how I've processed the emotions in the last month, my job search, and then finally, advice for anyone going through a similar situation, because I know that there's been quite a few tech layoffs recently. And then for those of you who are looking to avoid being laid off, I have some advice that I believe will be useful to those situations as well. As we think about the emotional piece, I'm not going to give you the cookie cutter. Don't put your identity to your job, because when you lose it, you lose everything. But if I'm being honest, it was quite devastating losing my job. I was sitting right here in this chair. That's why I'm making the video right here. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, and it was a member of my HR team, and they say, hey, we're buzzing in XYZ. They buzz in someone else. So I'm thinking, what is this? Am I gonna get a bonus or something? Because it was completely unexpected. And then the very first sentence is, okay, today is your last day. And my heart dropped. I was like, wait, what? And it was quite unexpected. So that happened. I was trying to understand the situation, and then the call ended, and then I tried to get on my computer because it was logged open. And funny enough, I was stressed out because I was dealing with a customer issue that had been prolonged into the evening. I was working, sending emails into the evening. As soon as this call happens, I'm logged out of my email doesn't work. And I'm thinking, this can't be real. So I called my manager about 5 minutes after. My manager was not aware of the situation. And I was in such shock that I started crying on the phone. And I don't cry often, I'm not very emotional, but I think it was just such a bombshell of news that I didn't process it. And then the call ended there. So I was walking around my apartment thinking, wow, I make YouTube videos talking about my tech sales career, giving sales advice. Now I have just lost my tech sales job. What am I to do? And that took a while to get past, and I still think I'm kind of getting past it. So naturally, I booked a trip to Florida and didn't really do any sort of work. It didn't use an alarm clock. I just got back from Mexico. My back's peeling unlike anything I've ever seen. So I don't think I've quite processed it. I think it's more so just day to day. You have these thoughts of, what would I be doing on a Tuesday afternoon at noon right now? Oh, I'd be working, but I'm just walking around Whole Foods getting groceries or working out. So emotionally, it's day to day, and you start to go in and out of these different periods of, okay, well, I no longer have financial security knowing I have this salary, this paycheck that's going to come. It's like crack cocaine. I need my hit. You become dependent on it. So now that the Band-Aid is ripped off, it's actually quite liberating, because I could have seen myself working in the tech industry at that specific company for the next 5 to 10 years. I really valued loyalty, and I valued career progression. And that's why I optimized 6 promotions, bottom of the totem pole, sales development rep, senior account executive. I worked really hard because I wanted to be recognized. I didn't care about the money so much as I did about succeeding and feeling like I was producing. So when all of that is taken away from you and your vision of your future self is stripped away, at first it's disappointing, but then it becomes liberating, because you think the Band-Aid's ripped off, I'm on my own, I need to figure it out. That takes us into job search. I keep getting the question, what's next, Trent? What are you going to do? I did a poll actually on LinkedIn, and 3,300 people responded. I said, if time and money weren't a factor, what would you do? Get a top 10 MBA, travel the world, buy a business, build a business. And the consensus answer was travel the world. So I'm considering that, but I really view my full-time job as just working on myself. Fortunately, as a result of my personal brand and the businesses I've built online, I don't need to worry about money right now. It's not that there's long-term stability, but right now I have savings, okay? So make sure if you're making money right now, try and save some of it and don't put it in too risky of assets like certain crypto or stocks that will go down or things that you don't understand. Put your money in things you do understand, because now I check my bank account and I say, okay, well, I've got enough money to last me a few years. Do I really need to search for a job? I've spoken with dozens of people, friends, mentors, colleagues, associates, and they say, do not rush back into a job. So if you've been fired or you're thinking about leaving your job, I would encourage you to make the most of that career transition and really look inside as opposed to fear. I need to go get this new job. Hey, what are people going to think of me? I'm unemployed, da, da, da. It's kind of a weird feeling. So I'm not looking for a new job, and I have no desire to look for a new job. I just focus on getting a lot of sleep. I get 10 hours of sleep every night. I try and drink a lot of water. I try and exercise every day, and I read books, and I just work on myself, and I have post-it notes. I write down what I'm thinking and just what I want in the future so I can really start moving in that direction. And then finally, advice for those of you who have been laid off recently or you're hoping to avoid being laid off. What I would suggest to you, the number one piece of advice is to diversify your income streams. The reason I wasn't as concerned being laid off was because I was already making real money online via the internet, Wi-Fi income. So if you're still listening right now and you do not have any additional income besides your W-2 income, you are behind and you are at great risk. Because if you are dependent on this one source, you're in your job, you go buy this house, you got a mortgage, you just have a kid, okay, now you're married, there's all these expectations. You need to produce, you need to provide. And if that is taken away from you, whether it's your choice or someone else's choice, then what are you to do? And I encourage you to think about this thought exercise. If you lost your job today and you woke up tomorrow with no more W-2 salary income coming in, what would you do? What is your current burn rate? How much money are you spending versus how much money is coming in? How much money is coming in via your own accord through Wi-Fi income? So if you do not have that, whether you are currently employed or you've just been laid off, you need to work on building a way to earn money through the internet. And I have nothing to sell you here today, but the easiest way to do this is to build a personal brand. Early in my tech sales career, I started posting YouTube videos talking about my tech sales career. And for those of you who have tried this, very hard to build a YouTube channel based around B2B sales. So I appreciate everyone who's been with me from the start, but start talking about what you like to do, what may seem obvious to you as gold to others. And if you're lucky enough to still be at your company and employed by a great tech company, I'm here to tell you to exploit the company for everything you possibly can. And I don't mean that in like a leech, let me take. It's a give and take. Relationships are a value exchange. So in order for your organization to provide you value, money, you need to be providing them value. But what additional value can you extract from your company, i.e. relationships? That's the biggest thing I regret. Once you lose your job in this status, you're in this environment, you no longer really have those relationships of those people you just walk in the hallway day to day by. You don't talk to them anymore. And you realize no one was really ever thinking about you in the first place. So you ought to take more risk, but you ought to really fortify these connections. I had a list of about 20 to 25 connections of, I wouldn't necessarily say friends, I would kind of say associate type people that I was on a very professional and personal relationship with. When I got fired, I heard from every one of them, whether it was a text or a phone call. And I had a list of people I considered my strong network. I heard from every one of them after being fired. So I respect and appreciate all of them for that. So ask yourself right now, have you built a network while you're at your company? Have you truly invested in yourself as a professional? Does your organization give you a stipend to invest in self-development? Your organization is a lens into your marketplace, into your industry, into what is happening right now. Don't underestimate the importance of truly understanding not just your role, not just your business, but the entire industry and how your company fits into that. Because the better you understand that, the more valuable you will be in the marketplace and the broader your perspective will be, so that when you do go build your personal brand and you're asking yourself, well, what do I have of value to offer to other people? It's what I just outlined right there. You have specialized, unique knowledge that may seem intuitive to you that other people would be willing to pay you for. So figure out how you can leverage that, figure out what else you can learn in your organization, and make the most of your time while you're there. Not just make as much money you can and invest in it, build the relationships, invest in yourself. And I promise you, when you are on the other side like me and you've been fired and you're not interested in going and finding another job, it's a wake-up call, because you say, I'm in it alone, I'm out here, and either I figure it out or I go homeless or I have to move in with my parents. So that's the reality of the situation when you lose your job and you start to feel these external pressures of perceptions of people are like, It's been 45 days, you're not looking for a job. What's next? What are you gonna do? Don't worry about all that noise. Ignore the noise and play the long game.